It was the back-to-back MVP's turn to author his own response.
Inside, SGA snakes his way for his 7th field goal of the night.
Why were the Thunder only one step away from victory but still failed to close it out? What exactly happened in Game 6 between the Thunder and Spurs this year? The biggest reason was that SGA's shot creation dropped off significantly. Let's look at the crucial third quarter and see what happened. On the first possession, SGA faced his defender and went to his signature step-back jumper, but this one was different from most of his normal step-backs. He did not build up enough speed first, then used the defender's body to stop his forward momentum before stepping back into the shot. Instead, this was more of a stationary step back. He did not generate enough momentum going into the jumper, and the defender also contested it well. So this was a difficult shot, and I would not count it as a good self-created possession.
It's a breakdown.
On the next possession, Castle applied very aggressive point of attack pressure. This was one of the biggest differences compared with the Lakers' perimeter defense. SGA faced about 40-point defensive pressure, and his attack was stopped, with Wemby waiting in front of him. The ball could not get inside, so SGA had to move it back outside and let Chet finish the possession. SGA failed to create his own offense on this possession. On the next play, SGA was once again stopped by about 40-point defensive pressure. His attack ended, and he passed the ball to Caruso to finish the possession. Caruso drove and kicked the ball back out, which eventually created an open jumper for SGA, but SGA's own shot creation had still failed on the initial action.
The timeout off the bench. Good find of Gilgeous-Alexander.
I know there was talk after Game 5, but
on the next possession, SGA faced 40-point pressure again. This time, he could not even get the ball out. He was stripped directly.
check his track record, what he's done.
Vassell pulling up. Wembanyama goes to get it.
San Antonio missed the transition three, and on the next trip SGA isolated Wemby and finally created a perfect shot for himself.
Wembanyama watching. 1 and 3 in the MVP voting. Straight up. FC attack. Step back. Splash and 2.
Throughout the third quarter, San Antonio kept pushing in transition and rarely settled into half-court offense, so they were able to build momentum very quickly. At the same time, the Spurs got back on defense fast. Oklahoma City also did not really have players who could consistently push the pace in transition, so the Thunder were forced into half-court offense again and again. Because SGA's shot creation had dropped off in this game, Oklahoma City's offense eventually collapsed in the third quarter.
Spurs plus 13 right now. Gilgeous-Alexander.
On the next play, SGA attacked against Castle's rear pressure. He deliberately slowed down and tried to use his body to hold his position, but his body weight and upper body strength are not really suited for playing this way. He is not a power base player like Luka Doncic. Luka is extremely good at this. Even with the defender attached to his back, he can still create a clean shooting motion, and sometimes he can even finish through contact for N1. For SGA, this self-created attempt looked much more difficult. I would only count it as about half of a successful self-created possession. San Antonio then attacked in semi-transition again instead of relying on half-court offense, and Harper finished the possession.
Gilgeous-Alexander has a good contest. Fournette backs out it. Harper pulled it away. Wilkie's got it back. Step back.
Harper has been pretty impressive. Even during the finals, he would occasionally make some very impressive plays. On this possession, SGA drove to the basket. Castle was actually already beaten. But the Spurs no. 7 rotated over, and suddenly there was no space in front of SGA. As the ball handler, SGA was put in a very uncomfortable position and was stopped again by about 40-point defensive pressure.
Hartenstein flashes.
He passed the ball to Hartenstein, but Hartenstein was immediately surrounded by 3 defenders and eventually drew a foul. Even though the possession ended with a foul, Oklahoma City's half-court offense still looked extremely difficult. San Antonio's help defense was rotating very quickly. The next possession followed almost the same script, so I will not repeat everything. This time, Oklahoma City actually created an opportunity.
Largest lead of Game 6. Buoyed by a 9-0 San Antonio run. Can the Thunder stop it while it's the lob?
After the Spurs No.30 lost his defensive position, No.7 came over to help, which gave Hartenstein a chance to roll to the basket, but he missed the dunk. During the stretch when Wemby was off the floor, SGA still failed to take advantage of the backup big man's weaker help defense. Maybe San Antonio's transition momentum had already put Oklahoma City under too much pressure. On this possession, SGA used the screen to get past Fox's primary defense. Fox was clearly not as aggressive as Castle. He could not stay attached to SGA from behind, which gave SGA a one-on-one opportunity against Wemby.
It's 13 misses in a row for the Thunder. Make it 14.
This time, SGA built up his speed first, went to his signature step back, and finished with a floater. That was another successful self-created possession. So in the entire third quarter, SGA created about 2.5 self-created shot attempts. His shot creation had clearly dropped off, and he lost a lot of his usual aggression. I think Oklahoma City's third quarter collapse came down to a few things. First, Castle's point of attack defense was very aggressive. He recovered quickly from behind, and that clearly affected SGA's ability to create offense. Second, Oklahoma City's secondary creator, Jalen Williams, could not play at his normal level because of his hamstring injury. SGA is not the same level of athlete as Michael Jordan. He does not have that same ability to create in the half court against multiple layers of defense, so he still depends quite a lot on a secondary creator to take some pressure off him. If Michael Jordan is an A+ level basketball player, then I would probably put SGA somewhere around the A- level.